getting major echo. There we go. We're live. That's cool. Let's go ahead and tweet this out. Public. All right. There. Tweet. Boom. Are finally. For you again?
That guy.
Even worse is when I go to spell out a Twitter handle for something and it doesn't pre-fill.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, I have it right. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's tweeted out. All right. Okay. Hello, Casey Choi. Forever. All right. People in here. That cool. Only took about a half hour to
Is there a way I can read the comments without going to the actual video?
What's this?
Is there a way I can read the comments without going to the actual video?
I don't think so.
I think it's only your end that can do that.
I like looking at the feed just to make sure that it's still working.
Yeah.
That too hot to start messing up. And that stuff's not working. All right. Starting to get some people in the room now, guys. How's everybody doing today? See 7 or 8 people in here, so don't be shy. Chime up. Anyone?
Yeah, you got to let us know how the feed sounds and looks.
How is the feed? My audio and Josh. Good. So, hello. All right, so we'll wait till they say that because this thing is a good 10 seconds behind. Everybody say everything is all good. So I guess I could theoretically do this. Listen to myself. Hello. All right, so we'll wait till they yeah, because I guess it's not too bad. So, all right. Well, for those in the room, you're not necessarily people just not chatty, don't talk, just like to listen. I do the same thing. I mean, sit there and keep typing. You're working and you're doing stuff. Hey, there's Danny AR, my arch nemesis from Twitter. No, I'm just joking. Larry is at a concert skate night with his wife, so he is not going to make it right now. Might be in here towards the end of the show. Might jump in. So that's
So on your logo, we'll have to put a little X.
yeah, and put a picture of you.
Just Photoshop my head on his body.
I should do that for the picture of you, just like over top. I'll do. Wait a minute. What's your Oh, that picture you sent me on Hangouts.
Yes.
Look, that's the one I'm using. I'll put that
in. That's fun. I'll have to remake it, put my hat on there so people know who it is.
All right, so someone says they can barely hear me. So I am going to mess with the audio here. And you can't hear anything. Well, if everybody else can hear us and you can't, you need to work on your audio.
Turn up the volume.
Because if they can hear us, you need to because I can actually hear. I go into the feed You need to work on your audio. Yeah, I can, and I
Turn up
hear
the
Josh
volume.
just fine. Because if they can hear us, you need to. Because I can actually hear. I go into the feed. Like I can bump up our
work on your
volumes and
audio.
everything.
Yeah,
I can, and I
Turn up
hear
the
Josh
volume.
just fine. Yeah, I can hear just fine. So it's.
There's like a weird delay thing going on.
Well, Anthony said he had to restart his app, so that's fine. Okay, all right, we're good. Exactly. Don't blame me. You. I screwed up earlier talking to Josh before we came live. I put I'll put these back behind me. I for some reason my system muted my audio. Well, I have my stuff. I mean, I can do that. I don't know if that's much louder, but the further I get away from the mic, the quieter I get as I start talking. So
I have
so yeah, so
I have my
that's much louder now. So all right, so I'll just talk a little bit louder. The last show I did, our first show, I had my, as you can see right back there, my I forget what Sennheiser that is, the more expensive one. I think I got that thing for like $400. It should not have been $400 or $500. That was insane. So I'll just keep the mic closer to me, and I can even hear that better now. So we'll just do that, and I'll tilt you guys this way a little bit, so I at least look center of frame when I come up. But that is that. All right, so let's go ahead and just welcome everybody. Like I just said, Larry is at a concert, so he may or may not be joining us. And we're gonna start the show, and we're gonna be talking iPhone launch, as you can see by the description. And we're excited. I don't know how excited Josh is, but you know he's
Yay.
he's an Android guy. But
This year I've used iOS
yeah, I
a
was gonna,
lot more.
you've been getting into iOS. That's the reason. One of the reasons why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ask Josh to come on the show. I know that well, obviously you experienced getting your stuff today and doing all that, but
Right.
we will talk about that at the show. So let me just go ahead and start recording, and I'll do the intro, yeah. And I'll put your stuff in the description for the show.
Sweet.
And all that good stuff. It's a shout. We'll do that in the beginning, and of course at the end. You always got to get it in the beginning, because who knows who will be around.
People that are just watch for 2 minutes and be out.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the OG podcast. And for those of you, delete, start over, start monitoring. All right, there we go. Okay. And welcome to the OG podcast, episode 2 of the new start, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, Michael Panetta. Larry, unfortunately, is not with us tonight. He is at a concert date night with his wife that she informed him was today. And he may or may not be joining us. However, I have a special guest here with us who's been recently getting more and more into Apple products and the Apple atmosphere of the phone side. I mean, I think he's done.
Yeah, I was about to say phone side. I've definitely more Android friendly, but
so this is Joshua Bane, BaneTech, and Josh is joining me tonight. So I'm excited to have you on the show. We are talking iPhone launch, and iPhone 10 that is, and you obviously got one. So we're gonna get into all sorts of things, from our own personal feelings to the phones, what we like, what we don't like, and what we've read around the interwebs, and everyone Twitter, and how everyone did pre-ordering, getting into the store, not getting into the store, you know, all that. So if you guys want to catch Josh, I'll put his links all the way down in the description. But Josh, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Hello, how are you? I guess I should start off with that first. How's it going? Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate the invite. As far as the day, it feels like it's I'm on the decline now because I had to go into work for about an hour and a half.
Jeez.
And then my Best Buy didn't open up until 10 a.m. and I decided to do store pickup because I
Oh,
figured that just might be the less variables involved kind of thing. And
right.
so we can get into that story in a minute, I guess, and go over my whole experience with that because it was a little different than what some outcomes of what some other people saw. But yeah, like you said, my name's Josh. BaneTech is kind of my tech side of stuff that I create. And you can find pretty much all my links at bane-tech.com. That's my website.
Cool.
That's pretty much the easiest way to, you can just go to top right corner and click all the social links and YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We kind of started this the other day. Um, and I was like, I wanted to get someone on the show to talk, just to get me away from me and Larry. Going through everything and just bring a little bit of a different feeling on what's doing and how we want to move things along. So iPhone 10 launch was today for obvious reasons. If you're not living under a rock, um, we have lots of different things that I've heard, lots of different things that went through, good and bad, from people. Now, of course, if you again don't know the Apple atmosphere, the pre-orders are almost like a total experience in itself. Uh, Apple launches it at 12 midnight Pacific time, and of course, the rest of the world just has to catch up with that. So, us on the East Coast are stuck at 3 a.m. in the morning pre-ordering our phones, and if we want to have any chance of getting anything that seems to be more popular, that's what we end up doing. And of course, as you move along to the time zones, it gets a little bit uh, earlier in the evening or later at night, whatever you want to call it, 2, 1, and then the 12 o'clock. And of course, the folks overseas are either just getting up or have to get up really early to be able to do what they want to do. So today is the day that the iPhone 10 was launched. Um, Announced many, many weeks ago, a little bit different for Apple to go ahead and release it many weeks after. And, to this day, I don't know, maybe to ease the pain a little bit of having the eights come out at the same time. So they did that separately. But I ordered mine. My pre order was fine. And I was going to have mine shipped to my house. And one of the guys that I know, a buddy I've known for, many years, and he actually ended up moving up here, and it was really, really odd that we caught up with each other. But he is living in the area now, and he works for Sprint actually at one of their stores. And he's like, you can go get your phone at the UPS. UPS, you can have them change it and hold it there for you. And I was like, really? He's like, that way you're not waiting until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to get your stuff. I was like, oh. So I changed it last night, literally at 10 o'clock at night, and had him hold it at the hub that's probably like a half hour from here. So we went and did that, and I picked it up. I got it at 8:05, and that was it. We were set up. We were good to go. Got the phones, and shot a vlog, which is up on the channel, which is doing pretty darn well. I mean, surprised. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised. That is up, and that was my day. We went to the Apple store and just kind of experienced what was going on. Josh has never experienced it before, so he was excited to see that and see exactly what people go through, because he usually just gets his and shipped to him. So he decided, getting it at the UPS store early and doing all that. So Josh, tell us how you did spent your day doing that.
Basically, are you talking about pre-ordering that night and stuff?
Yeah, how you pre-ordered, where it went, what
Okay.
doing today.
All right. Well, my plan was to go through the Apple Care program or Apple Upgrade program rather. And as we all know, that there's no unlocked one that was released this time. They made an iPhone 8 Plus or 8 unlocked one that you could buy, but not a 10 for some odd reason. So you had to buy a carrier specific one. And so I had to, when I was going through the process, going through the application, you had to have, you're going to have to, what you call activate through a carrier. So I was like, I'm not going to do that because I'm using T-Mobile right now, but I want to buy the Verizon one because the Verizon one is fully unlocked. I don't think the other ones are like that because they're GSM or whatever. If am I right with that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know if they made any updates or whatever, but like tradition has held, Verizon models are pretty much unlocked ones. You can just bring them to wherever. So that's what my plan was. I was just going to go through the Apple upgrade program because I like the setup with that. You get Apple Care
Right.
with it and all the bells and whistles. It's a great setup if you can sign up for it. But
Absolutely.
I
That's
wasn't,
the way to go.
yeah, but I wasn't able to do that because I had to, if I was going to buy Verizon, I had to activate it through Verizon, but I wasn't going to do that. So, and if you ever try to pre-order an Apple product when the pre-orders go live, you know the stress and the hustle that you have to get through the clicks
Yep.
because they sell out in a hot minute. And so I'm like, at that point, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because I'm like, this just sucks because this totally threw my plan out the window because I
Right.
wasn't able to go the route that I had to go. But I guess long story short, um, I just went to Best Buy and went through their program, even though that they, because at the time I was clicking through who had what available.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, 2, 3 weeks shipping, 4 or 5 weeks shipping. I'm like, dadgummit, it's starting to
Yeah.
get away from me now.
Drop.
So yeah, I wanted to get the 256 gig model, but then I looked at the price because Best Buy had it for another $100 more than everybody else. I'm just like, this is just getting way too expensive.
Right.
And so I just went for the 64 gig, and it was one of the only ones at the time that I was ordering that was still going to be available today for pickup or shipping or whatever.
Right.
So I ended up doing pickup at store because I figured the way my schedule would normally work out, I would be able to go to Best Buy first before FedEx or UPS were to drop it off to my house, plus avoid all the signature stuff in case someone wasn't there and all that jazz. So
Now,
I
I'm gonna stop you right there.
yeah.
You I included you on a tweet, that went out. Danny Wingett went
Hmm.
went to the Best Buy, and there was
Right.
a story last week that they were upcharging, everyone for the phones. It was, $100 more than everyone else.
Hmm.
This was just driving people livid. And of course, one of the things that you do with Best Buy is you just go in and you say, price match. I want you to go ahead and give me the price, that I get wherever else you're buying it from. So first off, it was sleazy for Best Buy to do that, number one.
Right.
And they went and did that, and you called them on it. And you said, this is wrong. You got a price match, you know, to do that. So tell me a little bit of how that went.
Um, I like when I was pre-ordering, I was like, I was just ready to eat the charge. But once I started seeing, I think it was it this week that they started saying that they were going to basically stop being able to buy the phone outright. I saw Jonathan Casey tweeting about it too, and one of his followers was saying that his order actually got canceled, and he
Yes.
was only going to be able to buy it through an installment plan. So I was like, oh man, this is just my luck, just my luck. My order's about to get canceled,
Of course.
and like on the status on my Best Buy account, it was nothing was happening. It just said ordered, received. I'm like,
Uh,
they're gonna cancel like the day before. I just know it. Um, and long story short, I get notifications that it's ready at the store and all that kind of stuff. I actually called yesterday to the store, and they're
yep.
like, of course I couldn't pick it up, but I'm like, that I should have just had it shipped to the house. It would have been here on Thursday instead. But
I
um,
don't think they would. I don't think they do that anymore. I think you're. I think you're stuck with what you're stuck with these days.
yeah, so yeah, I got to the store with a plan of asking to get the price match because of the pricing and all that kind of stuff. my store was cool about it. And my experience with my store, though, it's a very 50-50 shot if it's going to work out. I was actually nervous about being able to pick up the phone because I used the PayPal account to purchase the phone, but
No,
the PayPal account is in my wife's name. Normally, I have it defaulted to me being the pickup person, but it defaulted to her for some reason.
you're one of those guys.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my goodness. So, well, I didn't see anywhere to change it. And I have it set to where I actually changed the name to Joshua or Kristen Bane to be able to pick it up. That was like the name. So that way there'd be no issues because I've had that issue before. They're like, oh no, you can't pick it up because it says Kristen Bane. I'm like, it's my wife. Just let me have it. So I was worried about that, but it worked out. He looked at my ID. I mean, I was ready to argue it and everything, but
Right.
I was able to pick it up. And during the purchase time, uh, I asked about the price matching, and he says, "Yeah, we can do that. It takes about 30 minutes for something to go through because it was already purchased." So, or whatever. So I just took his word for it. Just kind of rolled with the punches.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things like the less you say, the better with
Oh yeah.
that kind of stuff. You just don't, even though you know how things work, you just try to roll with the punches until something goes wrong.
Right.
But I came back 30 minutes later. I shopped around the store for a little bit, had to check out a couple things, came back, and someone was able to, they basically returned it and then re-rung it up. And
Jesus.
that's how they did my price match.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? It at least you got it,
It's
and I think that's the.
right. And I don't think that was the way she was supposed to do it, but I got the $100 back. So that's all I cared about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, forget how they did it. Just do it at that point.
Right.
And I think that's actually the nice thing is to be able to hear that they were actually able to do that. And unfortunately, depending on where you go, um,
It all depends who you get.
and it all depends on who you get because Danny got hosed. They didn't give him the price match, which I think is just complete BS. There's no way that I think that should have happened, and I think they should have totally given him the price match and matched the phone because
Yeah.
that
Mobility today in the comments, he's saying, how do you return it with no restocking fee? I don't know. They did it. I got the receipt. There was no restocking fee on it. It's
well, you know what?
yeah.
I think at that point it's just a matter of let's just do this just to make the customer happy and just try to make it as
They acted like it was normal policy, like they were used to it. It was like nothing to them. So I don't know why Danny's store was having issues with that. It makes no sense that they wouldn't work with them on that.
I think it just depends
That's
on the
yeah, it's
person you're getting.
it really does.
You just have a manager that's just a complete useless turd,
Hmm.
you know, to do that. But you know what? Dave said in the thing, love when you get to beat the system. It's not beating the system. That's doing the right thing on what they should do, and they
It's
should,
their system.
yeah, they should be able to have a way to loophole it to say, you know what, we're not going to charge this guy a fee to do that. We're just
The guy checking me out when he was getting the iPhone, he looked at the price and he was like, if you could have cussed, you would have cussed. But uh,
all
I was
right.
like, yeah, now you know why I want that extra $100, right?
Well, no, yeah, you're already spending the damn money on the freaking phone to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, I the thing with Best Buy is they've gone through so many changes lately. I don't even know. I don't even know where they are. I don't even know where they're coming from anymore. It's just, you know what? That could be a whole show in itself.
The
Talking
sad
about,
thing is they're the only electronics store in my stinking town.
yeah. Well, you know what? They've run everybody out.
Hmm.
Them, Amazon. It's just H. Gregg seemed to be growing there for a little while. They're not really around a whole lot anymore. It's just craziness with that. But yeah, so I wanted to make sure that we at least got that story out with you and your experience on that. So I'm glad it.
If I was Danny or someone else like in his shoes, I would at least call customer service because they might be able to do something over the phone. I would
And
at least try.
good. Yeah, I still think you should.
Yeah.
But to sit there and you when you know you're right
Hmm.
and it's not going your way, that's when you just either have to just walk away and or you literally just throw a fit
Yeah.
until you get what you want because you know you're right. And I know that sounds really, it's just like, oh, you're gonna be that guy, Mike. Yeah, I'm not getting loud. I wouldn't get loud in the store. It's, you know what? You're not answering my question. I want to talk to who's in charge of you.
Yeah.
When that person comes out and doesn't give you the answer, then I want to talk to your boss.
Hmm.
And then you just keep going because eventually you're going to hit someone that's just going to go, "Why did this get to me?" You know what?
Yeah.
You're right.
Hmm.
It sounds right. We'll just take care of it. Especially when you're talking about something that Apple that not Apple. Well, Apple allowed it. That Best Buy did in upping these prices and charging an extra $100
Yeah.
for a phone that's already super expensive. So that's just that's unheard of.
Yeah. It's dirty.
That's totally dirty. And again, another story for another day. Going on something like now, at least with Amazon, when you go on and you go to buy something and the price is the price and either it's in stock or it's not, and it's very clear. You go on Amazon, you know that if you're buying it from a third party and the price is more. Like if you want
Hmm.
something that's popular, you know that. However, I don't shop a whole lot at Walmart, let alone Walmart online. But when you go to Walmart online and you're searching for something in their store, unless you choose in-store only, there's third-party vendors that will ship a la Amazon for
Hmm.
Walmart, but 9 times out of 10, it's more expensive because you're not getting it directly from Walmart. Like, I've gone on looking for stuff for my daughter, which is popular items, and they don't have them in stock, but I was like, "Oh, look, like, you can get it shipped," and then, like, if you don't do your research, you end up spending a lot more than you should. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this toy looks like it's about 14, $15," and then I realized that it's $7. And I'm like, "That
Yeah.
doubled the price." So,
Yep.
that's, again, another story for another day. We're talking.
Yeah.
So, of course, a la YouTube, blog sites, news, it's all over. You've got, and this is the funny thing, and I wanna get your opinion on this. You've got this section over here saying it's crazy again this year. Apple's new item. Everyone wants it. The lines are mad. It's sold out in minutes. And then you have a sect in the middle that says, well, wait a minute. Let's really observe this and take a look. And then they say, well, no, it's sold out in minutes. That's not really the case because you could go pick it up. I would say for a good half hour to 45 minutes, you could pick any phone you wanted on that launch and
Hmm.
go pick it up in most stores. When
Yep.
you're in larger areas, it seems that it was, it wasn't minutes like the way the news was talking.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
sat there and was like debating on picking one up at the store, you know,
Yep.
just to have another one and sell it. And I was like, there's no way. Because I mean, I debated for a good half hour before I know, and I was like, nah, forget, I'm not going to do it. And then you have the people that are like, no, it's dead. And then of course they find the one person that takes a picture of a store that's not busy, there's no lines. And you know, launches of years past are way different than they are now. You
Hmm.
never used to be able to get the phone shipped to you. You never used to be able to go to UPS and pick it up. None of that. You had to order and go to the store, or you had to literally go to the store and that was it. So it's
Right.
changed over the years from the first, second, and third iPhone when there was no pre-order. You just go wait in line and you hope that they have enough to take care of you.
Well, I
Well, I
remember
remember even
even iPhone
iPhone
6-ish,
6-ish,
it
it
was
was
pretty rough to find devices once it was released out to the public.
What was that?
Like stores, you weren't able to, like, they only had a few on hand, and it was pretty
Yeah.
hard to find them.
Yep. It was, and they were going, and I think they were going through a process of they didn't want people in the store because it really is easier just to take care of them outside of the store and ship it directly to them. That's less impact on the store. That's less that has to roll through them. Let the system run it. People that don't want to go out, less people, less traffic, whatever. But it also seems like they've created this idea of going to the store and hanging out at the store and picking your phone up and doing all that. And then this year, or this particular launch, I don't think it was as popular as people are making it out to be. It
It
certainly
wasn't.
was popular. Like it was it this is a one in item. But I just don't think it's as popular because of all the avenues that you have to get it. I still think a lot of people pre-ordered and had it sent to their homes.
Hmm.
And that's what got bogged down and that's what got sold out. People that wanted it at home. And that got pushed out to 3 to 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks in a matter of, I'd say, 5 minutes, because that's what we started seeing delays in shipping. It wasn't that where you go to pick it up. And of course, there are lots of stories out there, guys like Larry, which kind of sucks that we didn't have Larry in here because Larry had one of those stories. Doug, Mr. Double D50, and a few other people, no pre-orders, went to the store this morning. Larry went at 3 a.m., Doug went at midnight. Larry didn't have anyone show up to the Verizon store until 6 a.m. That was the first person after him. He was first in line from 3 a.m., and he said it really wasn't even that bad. Got the one that he wanted in any size that he wanted. It was all available when he got there. So they had an ample stock. Like you said, in years past, they told us when we pre-ordered, there will be no stock at the store. And you would go and it's like, we got a couple of this size, a couple of this size, and that was it. So it's definitely changed again this year to where guys went in. Quinn was like, "Oh, the line's not that long where I'm at. I think I'll wait in line and see if I can get one." And he got one.
Hmm.
And he didn't go at a crazy hour in the morning. He went in when they were open.
I I'm pretty sure I could have showed up to my Best Buy today without pre-ordering and picked up the phone just fine.
Now we
Except for the fact that they want installment plans now. You can't just buy it right out.
Oh, right, right. Now I know when you go to the Apple store, they allow you to buy it, outright and do that. Someone said in the chat, Apple pre-order sucked. I know some people who ordered late and had December delivery. They were bumped immediately to launch batch, which I don't know if Apple thought they were going to get them done. And that's a lot of guys did that too. And Doug was one of them that I made fun of because he canceled like his order because he couldn't get it. Um, launch, and then he went on and got one delivered to the store and he couldn't pick it up because the launch one that he got or tried to get at launch and was pushed back to the December, late November, they wouldn't let him change it. So he was like, "Oh, I can't use my upgrade on this," and he was screwed, so he canceled both of them. And it was just like it was completely destroyed. So, but luckily he got his today, so he was happy. And you know, but those are the three things that I saw today. I don't know if you agree with me, Josh, or not, or you even bothered following it that closely.
I didn't follow it like to the T, but I definitely noticed quite a bit of buzz about exactly what you're talking about. And
Right.
just in my own experience driving around town, because I had to drive by the corporate Verizon store here in town, there
Mhm.
were employees standing outside, but there's no customers standing outside. Um, and then Best Buy, I actually got there about 15 minutes early before the doors opened. There was probably at tops 15 people waiting. And
Oh,
they weren't all there for just the phone. They were there for other reasons.
man, there was people at
So
the Apple store today that were not there for phones.
so I mean, in years past, I've seen lines. You've seen the news actually report on lines in our own hometown. There is nothing of that this time. And I think it has a lot to do with the pre-order kind of stuff that you were touching on. And
Yeah.
just to kind of piggyback on the pre-order stuff, in my own experience, in years past, if I waited past 5 minutes, there would be no way I could order anything from any store.
No.
I'm pretty sure I was pretty much at 30 minutes when I hit the buy button.
Right. Okay. So
So I mean, that's
that
a long time.
It is a long time. It is definitely a long time. But, compared to other years, there's no way you would even make it to 30 minutes. Like, last
No.
I was having such a problem with getting mine because the Apple, upgrade program wasn't set up properly for me. It wasn't set up for properly for people who were in the upgrade program. And I ended up not being able to get the one that I wanted last year. So
Hmm.
I actually had to buy one outright because the program was messed up. And then I was able to talk to them and get my pre-order, but I didn't get it for till like a week or two after. Um, that was for the iPhone 7 Plus. And I ended up driving down to Philly to get the silver one, the gray one, just
Hmm.
to have something to unbox. And then I ended up returning it.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I ended up doing with that.
I still want to get onto that Apple upgrade program just because it's just a great setup.
I think it is. I like it.
But I need to figure out a way to do it with the 10. I
Right.
don't understand without having to worry about subscribing to a service. Like that doesn't make sense.
No, I agree. Yeah,
They just need to offer an unlocked version. Like that. That's aggravating. I don't know why they just don't have a straight unlocked one.
and that's the thing is, I know 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when I went out to the launch at California to visit Morrison and those guys, Larry went with me, and I ended up ordering because we were again, it was such a cluster. I ended up accidentally ordering T-Mobile phones. When I got there, I got mine switched to Verizon, and I wasn't able to get Larry switched to Verizon. His was T-Mobile, and he just plugged his SIM in and it worked fine. And it
So
was T-Mobile to Verizon and it worked fine.
usually that doesn't work that way around.
No, and
That's
that was
interesting.
the iPhone 6 or the 6S's. I can't remember which it was. I think it
Hmm,
was the 6's. Um, and that's what we ended up doing, and his worked fine. So it was just like,
that's really weird.
yeah, and that won't work these days. It's completely
Yeah,
different.
I wish it would work that way. I would have bought that if it did work that way and I knew that, I would just order T-Mobiles and just be done with it.
Right, right. So I mean, that was again, just the years are so different,
Hmm.
how it goes. Like I said, I was able, and I mentioned this on the pre-order, when we were talking about pre-orders after that happened. I was able to go on days before they emailed me because I was part of the the Apple upgrade program, and I had everything done, and all I needed to do was just go on and say submit, done, and it's done, and that's the app went live at 3:04 a.m. It was 4 minutes late, and I was done at 3:05, and I had my confirmation like 5-10 minutes later.
Yeah.
So, what's funny? One thing that I do want to talk about, uh, that I figured it usually happens on launch day, especially when you have it in the morning, before 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, even somewhat in the afternoon, is activating your phone. That
Hmm.
was an issue for many people. I took about, I'd say about 10 minutes to get mine activated. Was going in and out, backing up, going back in, backing up. And I wanted to transfer everything over from my iPhone 7 Plus. And it got activated finally after like 5 minutes. And then another 5 minutes to get it to accept transferring the phone over and finding it. And that was done. So again, I was activated. Now I was putting a screen protector on where I was at. You saw in the video, on my vlog video, I was like doing that as it was activating. So I had something to do. It's not like I was just sitting there looking at it going, come on, come on, come on. So it didn't seem as bad to me as other people that were just literally sitting there. Someone said on Twitter, I think it was Mark Gurman, said he was like trying it for 25 times. So, and I don't know if he was letting it time out or he was just like going back and going in. And, you
That's
know,
horrible.
I time to do its thing and it worked. But how was your
Yeah.
experience getting yours activated? Did you do it at the store?
No, no. I picked it up at the store. I had one more meeting to go. Once I was done with that, I jetted to the house. I unboxed it. Like my plan was last night, I backed up my because I was using the iPhone 8 Plus,
Hmm.
and so I backed that one up to my computer so I could just transfer everything over just nice and smooth and easy. And then I also backed up my wife's iPhone 7 Plus because she was on the 7 Plus, and I moved her over to the 8 Plus last night.
Hmm.
So I had deleted everything off my iPhone because I figured it was backed up, it'd be okay. Um, yeah, nothing could ever be easy, right?
Of course.
Um, so I got to the house and went through the whole unboxing experience. You can watch my videos, the latest video on the channel. And I kind of split it up in two sections, unboxing and then first impressions. And I had planned I was going to, spend about 2 hours with the device or so, just trying to get familiar with it because I knew it was going to be a little bit different than what we're used to with iPhones in the past. So
Right.
I I didn't have any issues as far as like my service getting activated. I simply powered off my other device, took out the SIM card, put the SIM card in the iPhone 10, and within just a couple minutes, it activated just fine. But as far as like the iTunes and backup kind of stuff, it didn't work. I plugged it up to my computer and it said that the file there's a screenshot of it on the video that I made,
Right.
saying it was basically corrupt or it just didn't work or whatever. So I don't know what the deal is. I've never had that happen before. I don't get why. I was like, it can't be because it's the iPhone 10. Like I backed up a 8 Plus and going to a 10. That can't be the reason why.
Right.
And like I had messaged you, I was like, did you restore from a backup or anything just to see if things were working right? And his worked just fine. So I had to start from scratch.
Yeah. Well, the guy
That takes forever.
had the same problem. So don't.
Who did?
Yeah, he had the
Uh,
same issue. He didn't get back to me until he finally got set up at what time was that? 3 o'clock. He finally sent me his first what do you call it? An emoji. He was like, it took forever to restore. It was horrible. Yeah,
uh,
he was having the worst luck getting his set up.
it sucks. Like when you gotta start, uh, it's horrible. It takes so long because I've got multiple accounts to have to try to relog into. Fortunately, like once you do log into your Apple ID, some of those passwords and all that kind of stuff start to regenerate themselves, but it has to re-download every single app. I didn't remember it, so I had to like go through my basically purchase history
Yeah.
and just okay, yeah, I had this, I had this, I had that. But yeah, that was a pain. So while all that stuff was downloading, I was just playing around with the phone. So I mean, I try to make good use of it because I kind of did the same thing as you. I ordered a tempered glass screen protector. I have a bunch of cases that were sent to me, so I put that stuff on in the meantime. Um, it, it it wasn't easy, but it got done. It wasted probably a good hour of my time at least.
Mine didn't touch anything. It literally went from the like peeling the back off to a case, peeling the front off, and dropping the screen protector right on it. So
Dropping, dropping.
putting the screen protector, yeah, dropping. I didn't share that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post that by itself.
Little
See what I can get out of it.
little teaser for everybody.
Exactly. So we'll see. That's for Mike gets angry. So behind this.
Oh,
So all right. So let's go ahead and just go to the third part of what I wanted to do tonight, and that's talk a little bit about the features, which many people are talking about it. So different features of the iPhone 10 are very different from what we are used to on previous generation iPhones, from the home button to a full screen to different ways to select drop down menus because you don't have a home button. And the home button, you don't realize, does so much.
mhm.
Again, from turning the phone on to unlocking it if you use the fingerprint scanner. to taking a screenshot, to starting Siri, to Apple Pay, multitasking, everything
Just a simple opening the phone. I mean, just
all changed. LG, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong. On Android, I always remembered LG being one of the first to implement double tapping on the screen to wake it up.
I
There
think
are
that's
other
right.
ones out there, but I'm talking, maybe more mainstream. But double tapping on that screen, obviously was on Android well before it was on Apple. And I love that feature. Just double
Mhm.
tap it on the screen and then you go. This is before fingerprint scanners. This is before any of that stuff. You double tap on the screen, wake the phone up. Your notifications are right there. You got the phone lying on the table. You double tap on the screen and it brings it right up. And I'm looking at my notifications, the time, my email, whatever, messages. And Apple didn't have that for the longest time. You had to literally reach to the side or the top, wherever the power button was at that time, wherever they moved it to. And they get the fingerprint sensor, so a scanner up front. So you tap on that, and that made it a little quicker. Sometimes I didn't want to get into my phone, and you had the fingerprint scanner, and I hit that, and it opens the phone up. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to get in. I just wanted to look at the time. Clock's much bigger on the front on the lock screen. Or I just wanted to see who texted me. And when you open it up, you're like, okay, now I got to go into my text messages and I got to read what's doing. So, that took me a little bit of getting used to of using another finger to hit this fingerprint sensor, the fingerprint button just to wake the screen. So, then there's the double tap, which, everyone starts implementing on all their devices. And so I like that. Now, of course, you take away the home button, and now the screen does have a double tap feature to it to be able to wake it up. Now you move on to the idea of Face ID. And I like to have, and you and I talked about this before we went live. I usually have mine sitting on my desk right here to the right of me. And I just literally just double tap on it just to look at it and look at my emails or whatever and go in and just start doing stuff. Right now, where I have it set, it's not. I have to literally pick it up now to get my Face ID scanned. So I got to pick it up. So we're talking extra steps.
Mhm.
Literally to get this to, and I know it's tough for people listening to the podcast. For those in the video though, you literally you hold this up. You can't look at it on an angle and just do one of these. And here, I'll move back here a little bit and just double tap on the screen and just look at it at the angle that Apple was promoting, that the scanner was like on this 45-degree angle reading your face. That's no. You have to be on top of the device, and it still didn't work for me.
It's got to be parallel to you, basically.
Yeah, you have to be on top of the device. You have to be right in front of your face to do that. And same thing with Apple Pay. I would just hold my button and I would just reach over the counter, and I wouldn't even look at it. I would just feel the vibration, and it would go bloop bloop and tell me that it's done. Now you're like looking at it the entire time, getting your Face ID to do that. Yes, you can disable Face ID, but you're also disabling a lot of security features on
Yeah, it's
Apple Pay. I don't think you can.
it's not worth disabling Face ID.
No, and that's the thing is you're forced to do that. Now, um, you
I
know, it,
mean, you can swipe up twice if to hit the your PIN code or passcode, but
that's just again,
yeah.
it's not making it easier. And I know that I'm saying it I it works okay. I used it today at Subway. It's not horrible. It's just something else to get used to.
Mhm.
Have now like having to pick it up to unlock it. I just might get to the point where I double tap on it, I swipe up, and I just put my code in. Just because I'm
Yeah.
tired of, I'm just gonna have to do that if I really want to get into my phone.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way because it's not a desk job, but I'm in my office a lot during the week and stuff. whether it's at home or at work.
Hmm.
And I have it like you. It's on the table,
Right.
flat. And when you have a fingerprint, that's why when a home button is on the front, it's actually my favorite spot because just the way I use a phone, because I
Right.
can leave it flat on the surface, just put my finger on it and interact with it without having to pick it up.
Yeah.
First world problems, but it's
Exactly.
just how I
Just a
like
different.
to interact with it. So it's like
Right.
when I moved over to the Pixel 2 XL, they get the fingerprint reader on the back. So anytime I wanted to fully interact with the device, I had to pick it all the way up so I could put my finger on the back to unlock it.
Yeah.
It's fine, but
It's just
just workflow, you just want to be able to leave it on the desk at times.
workflow changes, and everyone wants to talk about doing things easier. One of the things that I loved about Apple at the beginning, or I shouldn't say at the beginning, when they started really getting into the swing of coming up and modifying the OS, it was the simplicity of clicks, less
Mm.
taps to get to where you needed to go. One thing that still boggles my mind to this day is that when I go in to my quote unquote control center to pull up Wi-Fi, I can't go in and double tap and hold the Wi-Fi picture and go in and select from different Wi-Fi names that are on there. I have to tap on the control button. I have to go into Wi-Fi, and then I have
Yeah.
to select it from a list. That's 2 taps. A swipe down and a tap and a hold on my Wi-Fi button on Android is all I have to do, and it brings up the list and takes me to the control center.
And even like with Android Oreo on the Pixel 2 XL, it's just 2 taps. You don't even have to long press it now.
Someone says in the chat, problems $1,000 phone should not have. And and the thing is, it's not the $1,000 phone. I'm talking about I'm talking about the OS at this point. That
Yeah.
can be fixed on $1,000 phone. That can be
Yeah.
fixed on every iPhone that can still update to the latest OS. That's
Mhm.
not a hardware problem, it's a software issue.
Yeah.
Just like the copy and paste, I thought Apple implemented that better than anyone. And I thought Android's was abysmal when they first started doing it. It was atrocious. Apple's just worked. Now Apple's added a bunch of crap to it. It doesn't work all the time, and in my opinion, is not as good as it used to be. It just used to be more simple, and now I have just as many problems trying to copy and paste words and letters and sentences um, on my iPhone. Things don't recognize when it used to just do everything. Like you could
Mhm.
literally copy and paste any kind of text on the iPhone. Now, like I'll go into like a UPS app and I want to copy and paste the tracking number to somebody. It doesn't
Mhm. Yeah.
it doesn't work. And you get an email from someone and I want to copy and paste it, but now because it's an active link, it's like copy link. It's like, no, I don't want to copy the link. I just want to copy the numbers. So there's this added steps to things. And again, it's not a big deal, but when you start piling them on top of each other, it starts adding up, adding up, adding up. And that's the things that that don't do it for me. Someone says, "Why do you put up with these flaws? Do you use Apple's feedback?"
I was actually going to touch on that for a second.
I always
It wasn't it wa It's not necessarily even just an Apple thing. It's Android is just as bad.
yes, and
Because
both.
okay, how long did it take for stock Android to get the freaking restart button?
Right.
I mean, just things like that.
Yeah.
It's those little things that
Little things. It's not, but like I said, they're just things that you sit there day in and day out, and you never remember them when you want to bring them up. Just that now I'm getting older, and I'm just annoyed by it more and more. So I'm
you just
constantly
got
doing
you
it.
just got to move on with life because it's not worth fussing over.
No, but that's the thing is like I want to be able to tell people about it that say, "Oh, the
Mhm.
phone's perfect," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Tell me on your iPhone, how do you get to pick a different Wi-Fi?" Oh, I have to hit my control panel. I have to go into Wi-Fi. And then I
How
forget
do
it.
you change the resolution for your camera? You got to go into the settings app. That should be a camera feature,
Yes,
like
on the
in the
camera.
camera.
Again, software update. It can be done. And like if they would just listen to the feedback. They the simplicity with Apple has gone.
Hmm.
It's there are things that are just not simple. There's too many steps. And that takes me to the multitasking because the home button is gone. It's now
Mm.
um it's
Yeah,
now
I'm not.
a half swipe up, hold down, and it brings you to multitasking instead of just a quick double tap to take you to multitasking. You know?
Yeah, it's
And
not.
and
I've
it's
not gotten used to doing the multitasking windows yet.
yeah, well,
I'm sitting trying to do it now. It took three. It just took me 3 tries to do it.
exactly. Now it's getting used to, and that's fine.
Yeah,
You can get used to it and get it done. However, to kill an app, it's no longer swipe up or swipe down.
yeah, I
Now
can't
you
stand
tap
that.
and hold on it. It brings up the minus button. Now you've tapped and hold and held on at the bottom of the screen, right?
But
Then you got
really, like the
hand
best way to flip through the multitasking is to swipe at the very bottom.
yeah,
That's
but then you
that's the only way to do it. Yeah.
still have to tap and swipe up and let it hold to get that to kill an app. Like if I
Yeah.
want to kill something and go back into it because it's not working right,
Hmm.
that doesn't help me.
It drove me nuts to begin with that you couldn't do a clear all,
It
and
still drives me nuts.
and you can't do that. And now you've got to long press the window and then start tapping the red dots to get rid of it.
Again,
Period.
you just
It's like
double tap the home
with
button. They
my
need to bring back
nit
swipe up.
my nitpick with Android Oreo is like they need to put the clear all at the start. Like
Right,
you hit the recents button, it should already just be there. I shouldn't have to sit here. Okay, let me scroll all the way to the top
right.
and keep going, and then clear all.
Yeah.
It's like if that's the task that I want to do,
Oh,
I should just have to be able to do it right away.
I take it back. Once you tap and hold on the app, you can actually swipe up, but you have to tap and hold first. So it's actually extra step. You tap and hold, and then you can swipe up.
Ah, I got it.
So it's still an extra step.
Yes.
Double tap, swipe
Shouldn't
up.
be there.
Double tap, swipe up. Now it's kind
Mm.
of half-heartedly swipe up, tap and hold, then swipe up. So
You
it's
kind of have to do like a little motion to it at times too, just to even get it to work.
yeah, exactly. You don't get it right.
Uh,
Double tap. Granted, I screwed up the double tap sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, the double tap worked just fine because the scanner got
mhm.
better. And someone said in the chat, keep it simple, stupid. Principle died with Steve Jobs. A lot died with Steve Jobs, and I've been saying that since the day he died. you know, just I was curious to see how long it took other people who didn't believe in Steve's ideology to take over and push their agenda on the company, and it took less than a year.
Yeah,
To
so Koban saying in the comments that speaking of Oreo, Apple should implement live background. He said laugh out loud. I hope it's a joke because it's like if they can't get the stuff that we're already talking about right, I could really care less about a moving background.
that someone asked, and this is a good way to move on to this because we got to wrap this up soon. Yeah, the screen. There are two versions of the screen on the iPhone 10. There is what they refer to as True Tone and without True Tone. And if you go into your settings and then go into display and brightness, as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn the brightness down here so you guys in the chat can see this. There is the ability to go into your display. Where am I at here? Go in display, and you have the ability to pick True Tone. True Tone, in my opinion, when you turn that on and then push your brightness up, oh, that's really bright for you guys. In my opinion, this is a slightly less annoying version of the night on there. I think it's too yellow.
Hmm.
That when you take that True Tone off, I think it turns it more of the blue that I like, the more natural color. The True Tone is just too yellow. It looks like it's a very soft version of the Night Shift. That
It's softer on the eyes, but like as far as clarity and crispness, I think like what you're saying, taking it off definitely helps out.
exactly. I just don't like it. Um, Everyone else tells me that they like it on their iPads. Larry loves it. He says he likes the orangeness or the yellowness of it. It's a more warm color
Hmm.
compared to the steel blue of the non True Tone. Yeah, the True Tone Apple fangirl. The True Tone's too yellow. You got to look at it for yourself because it's funny when I first did it, it's not as bad, and I can't show you guys on the screen because when you put it too bright, it's literally just a white screen. When you turn the True Tone on, when it's turned up all the way, it's not bad when you're looking at the phone. It's when you get to a screen that's got, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, if you don't agree with this. It's when you get to a screen that has more white in it that you
Yeah.
notice it more. It gets a little more annoying. Like if I go into
Well, just in the settings app where you're turning it on, you can tell the big difference.
yeah, like I'm on the dark screen for Twitter now because it's nighttime. I go to the dark side. That looks fine. It just went to white. That looks fine when it's dark, but there's too much white. I can see it's too yellow. You know, it's entirely too yellow.
Yeah, it doesn't look rich like an iPhone screen, even though it's not as much resolution as everybody else's, it still has this superb clarity to it. And to me, the True Tone, it is easier on the eyes.
Right.
It's more relaxing, but I like that crispness that an iPhone screen normally has.
Yeah. You know what? Someone asked in the room, is the True Tone bothersome? It's all preference. For me,
You get used to it. You get used to it.
yeah. If you put it on and just deal with it, then
Hmm.
then eventually you'll get used to it. I can't get used to it because every time I look at it, I just see old, like the night thing, and I just think
Hmm.
it's an old screen to me. And I
Well,
wish you could adjust the True Tone a little bit.
yeah.
I wish you could like just go like halfway in between it. But Cobain Formax, you have to try it yourself. You might get on there and go, "What the heck's Mike talking about? This looks great. I love this. It's easier on my eyes. It's softer. I like that night shift when I'm lying in bed.
Hmm.
You know, I like that yellow. It's a lot darker. When I put the brightness all the way down and I turn the night on, it doesn't bother my wife when she's lying next to me. She doesn't even notice I have the phone on.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that. Um, I do need to try this outside with the True Tone on. I may change my mind, but I'm going to do that in a video and talk about that. So those are the couple things that I do. Josh, is there anything about the phone before we wrap it up that you think that you like or don't like about it? If you can think of one thing you like and one thing you don't like on the phone, say it now or forever hold your peace.
I really like that they moved the portrait studio modes to the front facing camera.
Ye-
That's I don't care if you're against selfies or whatever, just the quality is just takes it to a whole new level.
mhm.
Um, with the Pixel 2 XL, I absolutely love the portrait mode on that. And it's fantastic. It gives you some really great results. The iPhone just takes it to another step above that because of the studio and things like that. It's
Right,
just super cool to be able to have that. So that's probably maybe my favorite thing about the iPhone 10, and it's a close second just with the form factor. The form factor to me, I really like the smaller footprint, but you're still getting that bigger screen.
right,
Um, so with all these gestures that you have to do now, it's not cumbersome. It's not a pain in the butt to do. If I
mhm,
was going to try to, let's say we had the same experience onto a size of like let's say a Note 8 or even the Pixel 2 XL, it it would be pretty difficult to accomplish some of those tasks. So I think like as far as that like the design, they've done a really good job with the size and things like that. So
I love that. I
yeah.
definitely love that.
Um, so it's between those two like features, I guess you could call it. They're really close to each other, just because that is the experience, or like a large experience of the iPhone 10 is that size, and
Mhm,
then the camera. Two big things about that.
right.
Um, The
Okay.
thing I it's hard to pick like what I don't like because I've not even had this for I've only had it since noontime today, really. Um, used to, I think would be the worst thing about it. And it's just a learning curve right now because of all the gestures and getting used to no home button and things like that. I'm not having like a difficult time. It's just different. So that's probably the worst thing about it. But I'm gonna take that back. The worst thing about it is the iOS 11 bugs. I've already found a few. I meant to include it into my first impressions video, but I might just save it for. Well, I have to save it for the review now. But my Wi-Fi password to connect to the internet initially.
Hmm.
You got the space to where you're typing your numerics and stuff,
Yeah.
but down beneath it, the cursor, the blinking little cursor, was down below that, like in some weird space
Oh, that's
that's not supposed to mint.
great.
There's no way I wasn't able to capture it. I don't think I might have been able to capture it. I'll have to look back at some of my footage. But yeah, it was so weird. So it's like these little weird bugs that happen with iOS 11. Um, this might be just I'll blame Facebook on this one, but when I get a notification for a Facebook Pages notification, when I
Yeah.
open it up, down at the bottom, there's like this solid yellow line. And that's just got to be app developer kind of fault right there. I'm not going to blame Apple for that one.
Right.
But there was that bug that I saw, but that was just trippy to me that because the only space to type anything with the Wi-Fi password is that space, but the
Right.
cursor was down beneath it. It was like, how is this happening?
God.
It's but I'm really hoping that the iOS 11 bugs that I experienced with the 8 plus doesn't carry over to the 10. That's
Oh, that would drive
prob-
me batty.
because like I would try to delete an email from the notification shade
Yeah.
and it would go away for a second, but then it would like literally could see it almost like rotate back in. You
Wow.
delete, rotate back in. It's like what is going on? And then with another, I think that was with the stock email app, but then with Gmail, I would do the swipe to delete, and it would delete the notification, but it would never delete the actual email. So there's like stuff like that drove me nuts.
That's a pain in the ass. You know, it's
Yeah.
funny while you were talking about bugs, I was trying to think of one bug that I have on my 7 Plus that drives me nuts. Was for those who don't know, on the 7 Plus, when you take off orientation lock, you could turn your phone to the side, and on the home screen, everything would turn to the side. So, like, if you just wanted to do everything from the side and go in and do everything in landscape, the iPhone 10 doesn't do it anymore. I shouldn't say anymore. The iPhone 10 doesn't flip on its side on the home screen. I kinda like that on the 7 Plus.
Hmm.
You realize that? Now,
I
granted,
don't I don't ever mess with it, but it's like when I want it to be that direction, I want it to be that direction.
and I get severely annoyed because my 7 Plus would get stuck in landscape, and I'd be looking at my phone, and
Yes. It's
I'd
like
be like, "Ugh,
flip back over.
over," and I turn it the other way, and it'd flip around, and I turn it back, and
It's so delayed. Yeah, it was
right. Now, of
horrible.
course, when I go into my iMessages and my Twitter and all that sort of stuff, like, if I wanna go on the landscape, it go actually, Twitter Tweetbot doesn't do landscape, does it? I guess not. Um, but, like, if I wanna go in and text someone and I want the whole bar, the thing, we'll go on the landscape mode, but not on the home screen like the 7 Plus would. So,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna miss it. It's, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal, so but, I guess that's about it. Um, you know, make sure that, you check out our videos. Josh is gonna be doing quite a bit of videos as am I. Um, talking about these things and just really trying them out more and seeing if there's things that we can improve on. One thing Larry did mention, and Josh, I don't know if you saw this or not. If you're having a problem, and this is for everyone else out there and watching the stream right now that has the 10, um, if you're feeling like your Face ID might be a little bit touchy or not reading as well, you can go into the Face ID portion and you can
Oh,
change
yes.
the require attention for Face ID. True Depth Camera will provide additional level of security by verifying that you are looking at the phone before unlocking it. Some sunglasses may block attention direction. So if you want to get maybe um maybe just have it open up a little bit easier instead of being so picky, you can turn that off. And the same thing right below that, attention aware features. True Depth Camera will check for attention before dimming the display or lowering the volume alerts.
How do you get to that?
That is through, if you go to your settings,
Mm-hmm.
go down to Face ID and passcode, and then put your passcode in. And
Mm-hmm.
then below the stuff there, use Face ID for right below that menu. There's attention and then attention aware features. So
Oh, I know it. I haven't updated to the new update. That's why.
is that not on there?
I think you got to be on iOS 11.1 to
Oh,
get that.
okay. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. So you have to be on
Yeah,
11.1 most
I
likely.
remember seeing that now on Twitter. You have to update to the new update so you can get what he's talking about.
Okay. Now, again, you know, if I have this on my desk, it's still not opening up. If I even if I double tap on it and I just kind of look at it, it still doesn't do it. So it just opens it up a little easier. I don't know if it's going to be that much better. It just seems like I don't know if it's a gimmick or not, but
Mine's working fine, so I don't have those issues like some people are saying. You might
right.
need to just redo your face.
Yeah.
Like if like the whole head turning thing or whatever,
Yeah.
I would try that.
There
And
you
like
go.
maybe get into some better lighting or something like that when you try to do it.
Right.
Just to I would think that would help fix things.
Wow. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. I want to thank Josh for coming on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out and talking about your experience and what we're going through, what we went through for today. If you
Yeah,
want to
I appreciate you inviting me.
thank you. I would definitely
Always.
have you on again. We can talk Android too. Um, Tell everybody real quick where they can get you.
All right, the easiest way is to go to bane-tech.com, and that's got all of my links. I got written reviews and all that kind of stuff over there. But YouTube channel, you can just you can probably type in the search Joshua Bane or BaneTech, and you'll get to all my stuff that way too. But I hang out on Twitter and Instagram the most, and that's all at BaneTech. And that's a great way to interact with me too. So also like Instagram stories, I'm usually posting like kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff of what I'm working on. So that's a way to see what's coming out or what's fixing to hit the YouTube channel.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's something I think I need to do more of is just show what's going on and get people a little bit more hyped.
Yeah, I would love to have time to do like Periscope and stuff, but
Yeah,
I just don't have time to sit there for 30 minutes to talking and stuff. So usually just a little quick 10-second video or a photo gets actually what I'm trying to get done anyways. So
all right, cool. Well, guys, you know where to find me. YouTube.com/Tech Examined. Same thing on Twitter, Tech Examined, Instagram, MTP Flyer. So, again, Josh, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the comment section. If you're listening to this, still trying to get it on iTunes. I got everything set up on my website, so that should be hopefully this episode will be up on there. But I am currently using an app called Podbean, and I like it. So I'll put the link down there to the podcast itself for those watching this as well. So I'll put the link in the description for that if you want
yeah.
to try the app out.
Just a
Dude,
quick note, did you order the Xbox One X at all?
I'm not an
You
expert.
did.
I'm not a video game guy anymore.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
try to, but
I ordered one. I got a new 4K display monitor coming in, so I'm kind of
oh, good luck with that.
yeah.
Good
So
deal.
that should
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, there you
But
go, guys. If you're into gaming, keep an eye out for that. So,
yeah.
all right, we out of here. You have a good one, guys, and we will talk to you next Friday night. All right, giddy up. Only an hour and 6 minutes.
It's still up. Or it still says live on my end.
Well, no. I killed the audio for the podcast.
Oh, I
I'll
gotcha.
go in and edit that and put all the stuff at the beginning and the end. Do that, but I am.
So are you doing is this the whole Patreon kind of push? Is that the viewers get to watch these extra few minutes? No.
Oh yeah, right. All right, folks, you're gonna have to. Yeah, I didn't get any super chat money tonight. I'm a little disappointed in the people in the stream. I need
Yeah, I mean, freaking A, like I'm tired. I need my coffee. At least buy me a coffee.
donate. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's funny.
We're entitled to people donating to us.
Yes, you need to donate to me. I need money.
And if you don't know my personality, insert sarcasm.
Yeah, exactly. Like I sit there and watch other people's chats, and like I see people dropping like 50, $100, and I'm like, God, where are those people coming from?
Come watch my stuff.
So, it's craziness. But everyone's still in the live chat. Everyone watching on YouTube. We go live. Try to go live every Friday night at 10 o'clock. So that's where you can catch me here. Hopefully Larry will be back next week, and we'll have Josh on again. Probably do Android stuff with Josh. And I think
we never really went into that
what's that?
perspective stuff about, because I've typically am Android, but I've used iOS a whole lot more this year.
I want to do that. I want to do that in a separate thing with you.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Because we can talk LG V30, we can talk Note 8, we can talk the Pixels and all that sort of stuff, and how you feel,
I feel raped this year. That's what I feel.
Well, that Pixel can be a whole podcast in itself. Thanks, Marlene. Appreciate it.
Just phones are just too expensive this year. I don't care what it is. They're just too much money.
And the thing is, they're just that.
Isn't it going to get any better? That's the scary thing is it's not going to get any better, any cheaper.
Well, and they haven't gotten any better. There's nothing special about these phones.
No.
Just more gimmicks and get this, get that. And you sit there and watch the keynotes and you're like, oh, I'm excited about this. And then you never do what.
I mean, it's like upgrade wise with how phones have been this year, cameras, I think they're not like this huge next level compared to what we've seen, but they're a lot better than what we saw like last year, just with features and things like the portrait modes and whatnot are just phenomenal. But they're not, they don't justify the price hikes.
No, and they're not perfect. They're still in.
It's like this should get better.
But the question is, how often are you really going to use that? Like if it doesn't work, you're just going to stop using it. If it's too much of a hassle.
If I can use it, I'm going to use it. Like I'm going to try. If it's got people in it, or even if I want just a nice bokeh background, like the stupid photo about me, hey, I got my iPhone, photo that everybody has to post. I did portrait mode on that, like of the box. I didn't put a person in it, but it adds some nice depth of field and stuff. So I don't know.
Aphrodite's in the chat. What about the Razr phone? You know what? Screw that phone.
It's intriguing, but I'm not going to spend money on it.
No thanks. $700 for that? Is it $599? $699. $699. Right?
Put it at $799. I think is what it was.
Is it $799?
I think it's $799.
Holy cow!
I want to say I saw 7, but
forget that.
And you got to think about they bought Nextbit Robin, which, if anybody remembers how cheap that phone came out, which was a great price point for that phone.
Yeah,
but
that's all it is. It's
definitely better than the Nextbit Robin, but it's not going to be astronomically better.
There are people out there reviewing this phone that are like, their first foray into this phone and they killed it. They knocked it out of the park. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. all they did was just take the technology. Like they didn't create anything.
Hmm. I
All it is,
think,
all it is a more expensive next bit Robin.
yeah, with just a few little tweaks here and there. But I mean,
Now the only
I
thing
don't know.
they put the fingerprint scanner on the side. I saw someone do that. Yeah,
On the Razor phone?
$75 for the phone.
Yeah.
On this, the fingerprint sensors on the side of the phone. I thought. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get to the button. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought
I
somebody
can't recall.
sensor was on the
It's not on
side.
the back. And it's not on the front.
I think it's on the button. Can
It's
someone in
got
the
to be
chat?
like what was it a Sony that said or that did that with
Yes,
some of the
it's on
phones?
the power button.
Yeah.
There's Danny. 6.99. Danny, we were talking about your Best Buy experience, and how crappy Best Buy is, and how nobody should ever shop at Best Buy again. So that's actually really cool that they did that. But again, that's the next bit Robin people that probably already had that ready to go
Yeah.
before they sold the phone.
Talking about companies with what should have been or what they took and stuff, thinking about how the HTC U11 Plus was supposed to be the Pixel.
Right.
That was like, I wish that happened.
That's exactly it. I mean, could you imagine? That would have definitely been
I mean,
a little.
I've got the Pixel 2 XL here. My first one, I have a dedicated video about the issue that I had. There's like a light blue speck in the screen.
Mhm.
I don't know, and I guess I don't know what it was. It's just weird. But there's some other people on Twitter that told me that, or I think in the YouTube comments, were saying that I wasn't the only one that was experiencing that. I'm like, really? That's crazy. And then that's just a whole separate issue with the whole blue tint stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, like this whole thing has LG, this whole debacle with the screen stuff has put a bad taste in my mouth. Like I don't trust any of their products anymore.
Yeah. Well, they have a lot to learn with panels, with their display panels yet. They're just new into that game, which is odd because their TVs kick butt.
Right. Yeah. I have LG Smart TV, 4K TV there too.
Mobility Today, Dave Ciccone was in here earlier. He had an issue with his Pixel, and it's bad. Like, just
Oh,
really, it was
there's
really,
another
really
guy.
bad. Like a whole bunch of crap went wrong with his phone. Now he had the burn in, but he had
Oh,
some other stuff happen with his phone and went off on Google, and like he's in the midst of like just dealing with someone higher up that he got a hold of. And they're talked about how the idea that Google made this phone and is in charge of the software, is in charge of the hardware, and trying to do a la Apple, a la Samsung, well, maybe not Samsung. But from bottom to top to bottom, they made the software, they made the phone, the whole nine.
yeah.
Logistically and customer service wise, I'm sorry, not legit. Customer service wise, logistically, they're not set up to deal with these problems. So they're scattering right now. They are
Mhm.
scrambling, trying to figure out how to handle these problems, and they don't know what they're doing because they're not set up to do it. And that's the general gist that Dave told me. He's like, they're not set up to do it. They're totally lost in how to handle customers saying that they have all these problems with the phone.
Yeah,
They just they
I had to look it up. There's a guy named Roy. I think he's got a blog like Epic Droid, something like that. But he had like these weird things going on. I think he made a couple of videos, but like you see these black splotches, like wavy motions and stuff that would come from the sides. Like, like when you press in a screen,
Mhm.
it
Oh,
would,
yeah,
it turns.
you get the
He
rain
wasn't doing anything. He was just literally just brazing his finger on the screen like you were touching it normally, and it was
effects.
like ink looking.
That's
It
horrible.
was, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap up the after show here, but I want to thank everybody for coming in. Danny, thanks for stopping in. I know that you had your issue with Best Buy today. I would call them. I'd call customer
Yeah,
service.
I would call too.
Haven't already.
I'm
Or
just fortunate I lucked out to have a Best Buy that worked it out right.
I still think you need to fight it. So,
Yeah.
all right. So again, Josh, thanks for coming by and hanging out.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely gonna have you back, and we're gonna do Android stuff because I know that you'll be a lot more comfortable with that.
You're downplaying my iOS.
No, you've definitely taken lots of steps this year with more iOS. It's all good. But I know, I want to get more in the Android because I love the LG V30. My opinion, that's the Android phone of the year. Sorry. Love that phone. Just LG sucks at promoting it. So anyway. All right. So guys, thank you so much. Josh, I'll talk to you in a second after we stop going live.
Yeah, this is the after show, but we got the after show now.
Keep chatting afterwards and complain about everybody in the room. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again, Josh. Thank you so much. His information is in the description, and we'll see you guys hopefully next Friday.